My name's Clayton, and I'm an alcoholic. Step 7. Um, hmm. Step 7. Humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. For me, the humbly was something I'd not done in my life. I was rarely humble. Humility was, it didn't exist. Um, because if I was and I wasn't met with the expectation I had, if I asked for help and I didn't get what I sought, that turned into anger. That turned into rage and blame. How dare you not help me? And I would go drink over it. I would drink because for whatever reason they had in their life, they weren't there to do what I needed them to do. My first real step of humility outside of the steps in the program itself, I hadn't made it to this point of asking my higher power to remove my shortcomings yet. I'd not even made it to identifying what those shortcomings truly were yet. But when it was time to move out of the house and find my own place, financially, it was going to be a challenge to have the money for a you know, first month's rent, security deposit, furnishings, things of that nature. And I asked my brother for some financial assistance. He and his husband, and in that conversation, I told him it was okay to tell me no, that I could understand today. And that's not a way I'd ever treated anything like that before. And ultimately, he did have to tell me no, and that was okay. For the things he has in his life, I had reached a place of accepting he needed to prioritize he and himself over me. That's okay for him to do. Others don't have to do for me simply because I ask or expect. They're allowed to make their own decisions. I have to accept those decisions. That is the reality in which I get to live now. The judgments I used to have of people that I would see, um, this is why they're worse off than me. This is why I'm better off than everyone. The judgment about other people's lives in moments, right? How often do we know depth of one another when we make a judgment of somebody we see doing something? I I joked about it that day with some friends, but I was serious. I had I had crashed my truck into a light pole in a parking lot. While I was waiting for the tow truck and the insurance company, and I took care of the things. The things that you need to do in the moment, I took care of. Called the insurance company, made the claim, tow truck's on the way, but I've got to wait. I don't know how long it's going to be. So in that moment, I took the laundry I had in the back seat of my truck and started folding it, standing in the middle of a parking lot, folding my laundry. And I chuckled to myself, thinking, if I would have seen somebody folding their laundry in a parking lot, I would have judged them for not having a house. I know nothing of their story, but I would have judged them for not having a place to do that at. Why are you doing it there? And it made me laugh because here I was, for no reason other than I had struck a light pole with my truck and I didn't feel comfortable and confident driving it until we were able to have it looked at. There I was folding laundry in a parking lot. Not because I didn't have a home, not because I didn't have clean clothes, not because of any reason other than that's where I was at the moment, and it was the thing I needed to do. I had some time to occupy. I used to make judgments about people a lot. They still come. But today I can not I can try and look at the other person's perspective. I can recognize that I don't know the whole story. I'm seeing a moment. We have no idea what is beyond that moment. We don't know the pains. We don't know the pleasures. We don't know the loves, joys, hatreds, angers. We don't know anything of what is happening in their moment other than what we observe. Our reality is of our own perspective. And until we see the other's perspective, that was when I started finding true humility in living. When I took the opportunity to try to recognize another person's perspective. I had never cared about it before. I did not give a damn about somebody else's perspective of life. This was my expectation. Why are you not doing it? And it only ever fueled anger. Now, rather than fueling anger with it, I try to take a moment and pause and think about their point of view. I can have judgments and feelings and thoughts and emotions all I want about anything. I'm human. They're going to happen. It is a natural thing that they come up. And they used to run rampant, and they used to control my reaction to anything. They don't have to do that. Feelings, thoughts, emotions, they don't have to be part of a conversation. You can have them, certainly. Judge somebody? Absolutely. That is going to happen up here. I recognize that I am going to have that kind of thought happen. What I do with it, whether I react and let it be what it is, or I take a second, process, and look from the other point of view. When I take that moment and recognize that I don't know everything. When I humble myself to another person's point of view. When I try to experience the moment from their perspective. I start seeing the truth of the reality around me. To get down on my knees and ask a higher power to remove my shortcomings, because I know I have them. And I know they won't just be drawn from me and gone for the rest of my life. That's recognizing that that's not what I ask for. What I ask for is the opportunity to grow and not be the man I was. I can do that. I can recognize my moments today and say, I don't need to think like that. I don't need to judge like that. I don't need to feel that way about this. I have a choice. I get to be a man different than what I was. I don't have to let anger control me. This program's a miracle. I've heard it said by others before. I've not said that out loud myself. The power this held for me, facing things I did not believe. Did not believe I was an alcoholic. Did not believe there was a higher power. Did not believe that I had done things I needed to make amends for. That's what this step gave me. The humility to accept all of those things and ask for help. Today I know when to ask for help. I know when to recognize that I cannot do this myself. Whether it be friends I reach out to, whether it be a higher power I reach to, I cannot live alone and by myself. I cannot do the things if that's what I'm trying to do. I lived that way for a long time, shut in my basement, drinking beer and playing video games. Wasn't present with the family. So when I say this program's a miracle, when I say that the humility I've gained from this program, the loss of the obsession of drinking, the joyful glee in which I play with my children, for never believing in higher powers, to come to a place to believe that miracles exist and that I've been impacted by one. That's what I think about humbly asking for the removals of my shortcomings, because that miracle came along with it. Thanks for listening.